Melissa wants Teresa. She's
Hmm.
probably getting rid of one, and you're gonna make half the people thrilled, and the other half are gonna be angry. Isn't that always the case in life very often?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
believe that that is what is going to happen here too. So that's all very interesting. Let's speak about there's a woman whose name is Lisa Vanderpump.
Mhm.
Before I give you any specifics, what do you feel about this woman, Lisa Vanderpump? What are your cards telling you?
Let's see.
Okay.
I mean, immediately her energy is very strong. So let's look at the cards.
Yeah. Let's look at the
Let's see.
cards.
Oh, okay. I mean, I actually really like her energy. I do feel like I am seeing wisdom with age. It does feel like there is going to be new opportunities this year and potential to prosper. Um, I feel like she's very funny. I feel like she's very capable. I get the sense that when she's passionate about something, it feels like she will go toe to toe with someone. And I actually think that that has served her pretty well. Um, I do feel like she has made some enemies because I wouldn't describe her as manipulative, but I would describe her as calculating. And there's a lot of people who don't like that. Um, I'm seeing a lot about wilderness. I'm seeing a lot about animals. So does she do something with a show that's about animals?
Well, a couple of things. She's a restaurateur, but she does have a new restaurant called Wolf, which is
Ah, okay.
and let me just say, she also, in addition to being a restaurateur, she's very into animal, like cruelty and rescuing animals. She has a place called Vanderpump Dogs in LA where she rescues dogs, and she's
Oh,
done a lot of work with Yulin overseas. So that could be what you're saying. Do you think
okay.
that's like going to be a business? Is this something going to happen in her business with animals, you think?
I think so. It feels like she is going to lean into that. It also feels like, I don't know if this is a lawsuit or a dispute, but it definitely feels like there's something else that's related to animals that I feel like is going to have, I guess, a resolution, but not a solution, is how I would describe this. It feels like um, the people involved with that, I think, are going to stay separate, but it does feel like she is going to be able to move forward. But I mean, I actually feel like, and I also see her like reclaiming a lot of her time. This feels like somebody who's not old, but is getting older. And so it feels like she's really reassessing where she wants to put her time and energy. So I do see her leaning into more, I would say, of the animal, the passion for animals and rescue. It also feels like she was offered, so I'm seeing two. So is she currently on one show? Because I feel like I'm seeing two.
Well, she is the producer slash makes appearances on two shows. And is probably she's, well, not probably, she is the producer on a third show, but appears on two shows. One is called Vanderpump Rules, one is called Vanderpump Villa, and then she produces another one, but it's really hands off called The Valley.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she steps back even more, and really streamlines what she's doing with the shows to focus more so on her business. I do see multiple streams of income, so I think she's going to be really successful with that. But I just keep seeing animals, animals, animals. So I think that's going to be a huge focus.
And what is this lawsuit? This is related to the animals, or
I think there's conflict related to the animals. I feel like the lawsuit actually does have to do with money, because I'm seeing coins everywhere. Um,
hmm.
I don't see that going to court. I feel like that's either going to be settled or it's going to be dropped. Um, Also, I'm not seeing malicious intent with her. So this feels more like a perspective thing. I will say this, I think she's very tuned into animal care, animal rights, animal support. When it comes to people, it does feel like she's become a bit disconnected. And so that feels like that has a direct link to why she's having some legal issues.
Interesting. Well, she has a lot of money, so maybe if there's no malicious intent, it's not on her part and someone's trying to get money out of her.
This feels like a misunderstanding, like two people who have very different perspectives, not necessarily that she's in the wrong, if that makes sense.
And how would you describe, because you said 2 seconds ago that you are getting a vibe of calculating but not manipulative. What is the difference,
hmm
in your opinion, between calculating and manipulative? Manipulative.
Whenever whenever I read someone and I see symbols of a manipulation, it is somebody who is intentionally um, gaslighting, lying, using tactics of manipulation to do underhanded things or to coerce people to do things that are, you know, knowingly unhealthy for them and in their best interest. When I see someone who's calculating, to me, that always is somebody who is strategic. They're not going to cross the line, but if there's a loophole, they are going to utilize that loophole. So, I think it's the difference between, you know, Slytherin and full on Voldemort. So calculating is in the Slytherin house. It's my nerdy explanation of that.
No, Lisa has been accused of all of the above from some people, and who knows, she is West Coast herself, so maybe she has something to do with this big announcement that's coming that you foresee is West Coast. Now I want to switch gears to a man. His name is Jeff Lewis. What
Okay,
what do you feel for this Jeff Lewis?
let's see. Oh, what a great energy. Very talented, very intelligent, big, big personality. Very funny. I'm getting a lot of wit, very charming. Now, I will say immediately what comes through as well, though, is that this is somebody who can be very stubborn. This is also somebody who may perceive has a lot of negative attribution bias, meaning if there is any kind of question of why the people across the room are whispering, he's going to assume that they're talking about him in a negative way. And so when people come at him, and I think there's background, um, I think he does actually have experiences to back that up where he has been betrayed. He has had people talking about him. He's had things happen to him that make him very, very sensitive to people, coming for him. Now, that being said, I think that sometimes he may shut down professional and personal relationships a bit too quickly because of those past experiences. So, but I think he just looks like very talented, very successful. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. But I do think that he's running into some issues because he's very hypersensitive to people trying to screw him over.
And do you see, I mean, that is an accurate reading. And then this is one of those, like we said before, right down the middle. Like, do you see him being guilty of any of that, like other than, his defenses in trying to protect himself, like you just described?